Why every artist should be on YouTube. This is an amazing video that was recently dropped by the amazing John Talks Beats, who makes some really good in-depth thought videos here on YouTube. And with that, we welcome you to a new episode of Signal Chain Stories, the podcast for musicians, artists, and creative. And you've already read it in the title of this video, of this podcast, wherever you're listening or watching. You are not a YouTuber, you are an artist. And this is the topic we want to speak about today and emphasize why we think, same as John, that every artist should have its own YouTube. And Mordio, you're here as well. You're also a YouTuber.
You too?
Yeah, I'm too. We were just already speaking about that these days artists have to be everything. Kind of like we are not only being musicians anymore, we are being marketing experts, we are being community builders, we are being video editors, we are so much.
Content creator, mixing engineer, mastering engineer, producer,
graphic designer.
You have to be everything these days.
Yeah, you have to be everything. And if you look closely into it, it all kind of like boils down to YouTube as a platform that brings a lot of these tools together, and you as an artist can actually utilize that to make YouTube your home and build your own community.
Yeah, I think one thing that a lot of people don't know also, before we start to get deep in, is you have this YouTube ID channel where when you release your music on like distribution services, you actually can have already a YouTube channel, and you can put this channel and a YouTube channel that you create together. So it's like one thing, and then you can see your releases and your videos you dropped. So if you are like a band or a producer who wants to not make content, that's totally okay. It don't have to be making tutorials about Ableton or something, but like your music videos or something could be the videos, then maybe some behind the scene videos, short content or something. And then you have your music library also as videos with like a little vinyl spinning or something. And that's already good. Why you want that? And there I would start from the beginning when I was like completely overwhelmed with all the music industry. It was Corona, and I was like,
same for me,
starting to tour around a little bit, and then everything dropped down, right? And I was like, okay, wow, what I'm doing now. And my idea was just like, okay, I want to do a last move. I want to go only on one platform and put all my effort in one. And if this not works, I delete everything. I'm out. I don't make music anymore. I remember it was that time where it's really like, what I do with it now. Music industry is completely already like, right? And now after streaming and everything, we have Corona and gigs are also gone. So how, why I'm doing this to myself, why I'm suffering so much. And then I was like, but all this knowledge I have, I want to share. And I was always an internet person. So I was like, okay, maybe I just share it in kind of a blog form or whatever. But then I was researching a little bit about algorithms and platforms, how Spotify works, how the algorithm works for Spotify, how blog sites work, how all these algorithms were compared for weeks, months, okay? And I learned one really, really clear number change that was like huge. The algorithm change monthly almost on Instagram. On YouTube, it was 10 years, like there's adjustments, but not like huge impacts like 2010, where they said, okay, we deliver the content that you want to maybe have. And before it was just what you follow, you see on the start page, nothing else. Now they decide what, and that come from TikTok actually. TikTok did it, got a lot of success. And then all the big companies did it too, with the shorts and all this, to have this addictive, literally toxic app development that makes you addictive.
Doom scrolling.
Doom scrolling is a thing. We all know that. There's literally help centers for people like alcoholics, and then next to it, social media addiction. I just talked like yesterday on a birthday with someone about this. He was really obsessed. He was like, I'm sick. I'm really sick. I need help. And I go there now and it helps.
Yeah, I can understand that it's really hard to break out of these habits and to prevent you from that.
Yes, and when we talk about all of these negative things, why we think then YouTube, every artist should be on YouTube. I'm an artist. I don't want to make this social media game and everything. Because you still want to get heard. And I think what I learned from YouTube, and I think you too, is as someone who's obsessed with something, you want to create a community around this topic.
Yep.
And algorithms are against you till you use them for you. And in this moment, when I compared all these algorithms, I realized YouTube is the biggest search engine next to YouTube, next to Google. And obviously is also from Google. So they're helping each other. When you look something on Google, you will find YouTube videos. And it's the biggest search engine. So when someone tells me, yeah, I cannot go away from Instagram because everyone is there, trust me, everyone is on YouTube too, or Google. And when you look for an artist on Google, you will find that YouTube video in the YouTube channel. And if you are not on Instagram or co, but you have a following on YouTube, I'm in this glad position that I can see content of me on Instagram without being on Instagram, right? Because people reposting you. So you don't have to be on all these algorithm machines and split your arms in all directions. You can literally focus on one platform and do it right. And then I was like, okay, which one is the best algorithm? And that was YouTube. But I was not ready to put a camera in my face. So I was like, how I do this? But then I realized it's also the versatile platform about content. You can make video, you can make audio, and just put a picture. You have limitations are way less than on Instagram. Like they don't have to be in one kind of format. There's way more freedom to make different formats. You can be only phone content, short content. You can be long form content, whereas like a lot of platforms don't give you this possibility to be longer than 1 minute or two. And I think that was giving me in the moment that push, okay, that looks like a safer space because also they don't change the algorithm so many times. Let's try it again. And it took me long time because you have to learn a lot of things, right? But
absolutely.
In the end, it taught me something really beautiful because of the questions that I start to answer. And then also you bring the people away from Google maybe to like another platform where you collect them. Like with Patreon, we started to have Discord channels, right? I think you too. And it become like a little family that you collect somehow around your topic that you do. Like in my case, it was the tutorials, but I never saw it like this. And that's the thing. I was an artist that just randomly try something else. Like every artist do things like, okay, let's, try Spotify streaming. Let's put myself there and not just only on SoundCloud. Let's try this. Let's try YouTube and do this. And I do it for like, of course, a big amount of time. And when you want to see something, you have to invest some time in it. I just put it on the side. I just did it next to working and la la la. But on some point, I got like a community together and they all are surrounded by this topic that we have with this channel. And everyone just start helping each other. And you realize, wait, that happened because of what I do there. And that's a community. And I think this as an artist around you is the goal.
Absolutely. 100%. And actually the main reason why I started to be on YouTube is that I wanted feedback from the community because I was just getting my new machine. It was the Electron Digitone, also during Corona. And I started to make my first jams and I wasn't really kind of like sure in which direction. So I recorded myself with my old phone with an old Zoom recorder and then just kind of like edited very poorly together and put it on YouTube. And then people started to react to it and gave me some tips, said some things that were maybe sounding a little bit harsh to them and stuff. And this is actually was for me great feedback. And then I kept doing that. And then people started to ask me questions like, how do you make this sound? How did you sequence that? It sounds very interesting. How did that work? And then I thought, maybe I should share that because, I mean, why not? I can just share that. And then I shared how I created my sounds, how I made my jams. And then from there, it started to evolve. And then it moved on to Ableton when I started to do my hybrid projects and stuff. And the focus and the center of everything was always YouTube. Yes, I was also doing Instagram. I was also doing TikTok. But still, and up to this day, the focus for me is absolutely YouTube. I was just the last weeks reshaping my strategy a little bit, and it boiled down again to YouTube because YouTube is for me the perfect blend between discoverability, but also community, and also a little bit of profit, because in YouTube you can monetize your
Yes.
videos, and you can actually get some money back from the work you put in. And this is also something that John in his video mentions, is that YouTube in this kind of like, if you see it like a timeline between discoverability and profit, YouTube is in the perfect middle. And to that, I would actually add the dimension that you said about community, because I feel YouTube is already, and it starts to get better there, a great community place where people can exchange. And from there, you can then take it to an even more personal level. Like, for example, my Discord that I just opened, and I can already see how the community is evolving. People start ask questions. I love to be involved in that, because it's the most personal sort of exchange I have. And it's a little bit for me like how social media was in the past, when kind
Mm.
of like you just had a little bit of friends and you were in these old Facebook groups, and they were all centered around specific interest, and people were getting really nerdy around a specific topic. And now it ends with Instagram and TikTok just feeding you random content that is entertaining you in kind of like short ways, but in the end you're kind of like paying, as you said, with addiction, with attention problems
Spans.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, exactly. And this is, I think, really dangerous. So kind of like what I see for myself is that I'm claiming the space a little bit back in Discord, in YouTube, in all these places that we also discovered together here with the Signal Chain Stories community.
Mm.
And I think that's the key. That's really what it boils down to, and it's what I want to make. And even
Yes.
when I speak about it, it makes me happy. It makes me excited while
I'm
thinking about
smiling.
Instagram and TikTok. Yeah, I see that,
I'm
and I love that.
smiling. I'm smiling because the mission with Signal Chain Stories for me, when you asked me, you want to do this with me, I was like, yes, because my mission is more long form content. I
Hmm.
want to make more long form content. I am so tired of short content. That's why
Yeah,
I don't do it. I know it would be algorithm wise way smarter to do it, but it's kind of an attitude I have, kind of. Like I use it
yeah, but
only
it's
for like a
also,
short update or something, but it's not something I want to push.
I have to
Kind of
say, if your
philosopher.
community is not used to short form content, it's also kind of like hard to do the switch. I think a channel like you, who's only based on long form content, if you would now start to make short form content, I think probably it might, especially in the beginning, have a hard time
Mm.
to take up, because your community is not really used to that kind of content. But yeah, I mean, in the end, of course, YouTube works like every other social platform. The more the merrier, so to say. But also there, you have to be careful that you keep it to your format and to your style, which is also why we said, okay, for Signal Chain Stories, we want to have an own space, an own YouTube channel where we can basically create an own space and an own community, which I really love about it.
Yes. Yeah. YouTube is the only algorithm I could say I literally did it finally, like you got
Hmm.
some cash. Also, I would say after you get some following, because I think it's just the crazy part that the algorithm puts you global as like a solo person. Like a lot of companies work their ass off before they can go global. You can be one person business and be global. And that's the
Hmm.
big difference here. So you literally can have 20,000 people watching you, um, and you do it everything alone. And then when you have a band camp and 20,000 people know about you, trust me, this is like a big difference to like 300 followers on SoundCloud. And I have
Absolutely.
almost 20,000 on YouTube, but still maybe 2,000 on SoundCloud. Like this is, I'm not balancing stuff out there. It's just the
Hmm.
algorithm helps me here. And on the other one, I do the same, like I also do content, but like no one cares.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. This is also why I try to bring actually my YouTube stuff close together with my other artist work, like my music. I post jam videos when I perform my music so that people see it. And if they want to listen to it, they can immediately find the same song, kind of like the same song on Spotify. So
Mm.
it, if you, even if you say, I only want to make music, it really helps you to bring people to places. And same as you, I was in the beginning a little bit scared of putting my face out there. Kind of like I think we can both agree that we are more introvert persons and not
Yeah.
really the extroverts. Um, but yeah, it's something you can learn, and it's also something you
You
can start
will.
to have. you will learn, and it's
Yeah.
something you can start to have a lot of fun with, because you
Yes.
can get creative in more different ways. And if you see people are responding to that and giving you again feedback, and then it's becoming this, yeah, this community vibe where people are reacting to your stuff, you react to them, and then it's kind of like a constant exchange of knowledge, which I think should be the center of our artistic work, because this is in the end what we want to do. I want to be an enabler and enable other people to create the best art possible. So I try to share as much as I can and help other people to do the creative work they want to do.
You're a really nice person.
Thank you. You too, because I know you think the same way.
Yes. I love community on eye level. Totally, when you're in
Yep.
Berlin and you live there and you see all of this misunderstanding of being cool is dark and not nice to people, and I don't know, gatekeeping stuff. I'm so tired of this. That's why I started the channel also, like, here's my best trick I learned over 15 years music, just free for you, bam. But
Yep.
then I don't even ask and people buy my music, and I think this is a way better exchange than like this post on Instagram where like, please, my new album is out, please, 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 like you just drop it on the site to your main content, and this should be the way, I feel like.
Absolutely. And this prompt, like, here's my new album, listen to it, it is working for people who already have established a following for many years, but it's not working for people who are just building something. You need
Yes.
to create something of value, and I think that's slowly what people are kind of like need to understand, especially artists. People are not there to listen to your music. It's just not how it works. You need to create value. You need to make them interested in your work, and I feel the best way to do that is to actually share your process, because in the end a lot
Yes.
of these people are interested in where are your creative thoughts coming from, what is your concept, how do you work. And I think with that, if you start that and build that, you can, the sky's the limit, to be honest. And YouTube is the perfect place, because you can have, as you said in the beginning, everything in there: your music, your videos, your community, everything in one place.
You notice people that, like, I don't know, they working for a year on one album, but they're writing a concept about it, and everything, every color, everything is perfectly, and wow, 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 wow. And they have an exhibition place when the release is happening, and everything is so much wow, wow, wow. There's this type of person, and trust me, they have like a huge marketing campaign. They will release this thing, and there will be like a lot of people knowing about this. But a lot of us are introverts, and we don't want to be on YouTube, and we don't want to rent an exhibition place to release our 2-track EP, right? And I think YouTube is a beautiful start point, because I think you also just started with jams. I also just
Yeah.
jam on Modular, and people ask me stuff, and then I started to make actually videos where I explain it. And before I write, because I'm so bad at writing, I just talk. So I was just filming myself. But literally what you should, if you would say, okay, after this episode, I want to start a YouTube channel, let's go. Have a jam in Ableton, have a jam in whatever you use, and just put the camera on your hands. Totally in the music world, a lot of people want to see the process, but they actually don't care about your face. And
Yeah.
you can do this even later. Face less is cool, but I also want to give like 1 point to the face content. It shows you as a person. And I feel like when I know the person's face, I have much more value for the music than if I don't know this person at all, because it's just one dot in the noise field,
Yeah, I agree. It makes everything a little bit more personal, and you can
Yes.
more react to that. And sometimes, if I discover new music, I want to read more about that person, kind of like understand a little bit of the creative process. So, if it's a not, let's say, famous person who already has done interviews with big magazines or stuff like that, then it's hard to find that. And actually, then if this person has a YouTube channel, that's a gold mine, because you already love the music, you discovered it, and now you can actually find videos where this person is maybe giving you some insights into their creative workflows.
Yes. And
Jackpot.
I also think, because a lot of people would say, yeah, but YouTube is already so saturated. Algorithm. It's just based on algorithms, so everyone can get the same amount on people. Plus, a lot of people say, but what I have to say, if you do music, you already think you could make something uniquer than all the music on this world. So you could also have a unique perspective how you make your music to the rest of the world. And trust me, you will, because you are unique. Every human is unique and every person learned it in a different way. So your favorite trick could be something mind-blowing for someone else. And I realized that through YouTube, that people see my way of making Ableton tutorials is super unique. I was like, wait, what? I'm using it so basically, like I don't use VSTs, I don't make fancy things. And that's
that is the
why
point.
people love it, you
Yeah.
know?
That's exactly the point. That's something that's so, I can 100% sign what you said, but I think the great point about is really also what I realized, and that goes in the same direction, is that the stuff that I'm making is so obvious to me. It's like kind of like, hey, it's totally clear for me that I'm doing it this in this way.
Everyone is
And
doing it
only
like
through
this.
YouTube, yeah, exactly. And then only through YouTube I realized it's actually not that clear for other people. Other people are like, okay, this is crazy. And I'm like, this is not crazy. This is kind of like, I always do that stuff. And then people are like, I have a completely different workflow. And this is when I started, okay, it's really unique to what I do. So I can 100% align your point, because every person has a different approach there. And if we all share these approaches, we can all just learn from each other.
And that's the point. It's not through YouTube that we learn that. YouTube forced us to build a community because you kind of do it parallel, because the algorithm just put your videos to random people. And if someone like it, they come to you and push follow like randomly. And these people then start texting to your stuff. And if you answer and interact somehow with this community, you build one. And this community teach you that you have some unique ways to see things. Not YouTube, you know? And I think that's cool. That's why I think this platform is cool, because it is more based on building a community than the other platforms. The other platforms
100%.
sometimes have, for me, a bitter taste of like showing off who you are and not like, I mean, you can have this on YouTube too, of course. Depends always on the content, but totally artist content on YouTube is crème de la crème.
Yeah. And direct connections, I have to say, this is something, this is probably right now one of the only reasons I still use, especially Instagram, is that I have the direct messages. There's so many times I write directly with synth developers, with other artists, with people from the community, whoever it will be. It's just direct text messages. And this is what I really appreciate about Instagram, something that YouTube is not capable of. You only have the kind of like community comment section still under the videos. And this is right now mainly the only reason why I still keep Instagram. But apart from that, I'm 100% with you.
Yeah, I think this easy way to text you is can be something really nice if you want to talk to some people. But it can be also when you're getting bigger and bigger numbers, you know, more amount, easy way. I think it's nice that in my case, it's an email. You write me an email. Everyone can write me an email. I answer every email, but I can, with the email, you always can say when I do the email, you know?
Yeah.
Otherwise, the text is too much noise for me. So there is ways. That's why we also have Discord, right? Like people who want to connect to me a bit more, they go to my Discord channel. So we are literally like a big family. The YouTube comments are really official. So yeah, I get that point.
Yeah, and also on Discord, I think it invites people more to directly interact also with each other. Yes, you can see that on YouTube happens sometimes as well, that someone asks a question, someone else from the community answers it. But I feel that this exchange in Discord is even more happening, and I love that. This is why, my same as with you, my Discord channel right now is one of my favorite resources where I post stuff, because it's just an amazing exchange.
Yeah,
and I love that.
It don't have to be Discord. For example, you can use whatever you want. It's just important that you choose this place. Like you have like one traffic source, in our case, YouTube, as an artist, like to build kind of like a how to do it, right? I would say you need one traffic source where you put a lot of content out so random people can find you. This needs a really good algorithm. In this moment, I think it's YouTube. Then you need one place where you outsource these people that want to connect better to you. And in the best case, this don't have feeds. That's why Discord was my choice, because you have just live chat. There is no feed.
Yeah.
There's just people texting to each other or jumping in voice calls and learning about things together and showing their faces, knowing each other and starting to be friends and not just anonymous in the internet. And that's why I choose Discord. But there's for sure better platforms also to do that. And then just also one area where you never have to stop after doing all of this content world, making art and document that again in this world. But it's really important to never forget why you do this, and just documenting the process of you being an artist on YouTube makes totally sense to get audiences. But it makes no sense when you just randomly make tutorials and things, but you actually, like, I got a moment where I did more tutorials than actually music, and I felt soulless. So it's also keep care.
Such an extremely important point where I have been actually not so long ago, just a couple of weeks ago, I think it was before Super Booth, where I felt, okay, I've now made so many videos. Yes, I just had released an EP, but it was really feeling like I was just not really doing it, or not making any music at all anymore, or just making music when I was recording something. And that was kind of like the wrong approach, because it always felt like I have to get a video out of what I'm doing here. And it should be actually your art comes first, you make music, and then, well, actually what I did here, it would actually be nice to show that to someone, and then you make a video about it. And I think that should be the direction how you should approach it. So very important point, always value your art above your kind of like your content that you do. And always, what I do is block really times for that. I have now time blocks in my creative days where I only create, where I just sit down, open Ableton, make music, or sit down with some of my machines like the Moog or the Push, the Move, whatever it is, and just make music. And then when I come across a cool idea, this becomes a video idea. If not, also totally fine. Maybe it becomes a song and ends up on release platforms, Bandcamp, wherever. So this is, I think, an approach that is really important.
But also I have to say, like, happened to me literally yesterday. I did a video on a new pack I'm working on, like the trailer for the pack, and I started to just use the pack, of course, in the video, and then I finished the video, I wrapped it up, and I closed the OBS, the recording software, and I was like, ooh, wait, this sounds nice. And then I started to make a full track with arrangement, everything. And I was just like,
oh, nice.
Finish the track because I did the video. So it also forced you sometimes to get into Ableton, what is also, I think, quite nice.
Yeah, definitely. I had actually the same thing with my recent forced diet video I did on the Push standalone.
Oh, you did
where
video
I had
on
a couple of I have one out now on how forced diet runs on Push standalone. It's really, I love it for that. And in the end, I had kind of like a melodic techno track going that I really liked. And now I'll start to work on finishing it. So it can also work in that direction. Completely agree.
So should we wrap it all again together and then end it here?
Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan.
So what you would say if someone said, okay, I want to try this stuff, like how to start, which mindset I need, and I make music in a DAW. That's all I know. Who wants to learn from me? I don't know. I think I'm not the right person for it. How you would convince?
I think the first thing is what we already said, is that people are unique, and so are you unique, your workflow is unique, and there are people out there who want to see this. The second point I would make is actually that if you start to make YouTube, you will connect with other people, and it will be a giving and a taking. And the third point probably I would make is when you start to make YouTube, you not only learn about how to kind of like make creative videos and stuff, you will also learn more about your music and stuff, because in the moment you're getting out of your little bubble where you're just bouncing off ideas with yourself, because that happens when you work in Ableton and you're kind of like I'm just exaggerating this right now, but you're one of these classical lonely artists who's just in their living room or in their sleeping room making music with no kind of like other communities to exchange ideas. YouTube will change that if you want or not, and it will change it for the good, because then you start to get feedback from other people, and these other people will also spark new ideas in you. So through the videos that you will be making, not only your content creation will get better, but also your music will get better. And I think that's probably how I would try to convince someone.
I think the biggest point that you just put like really short there is you get so much back in the form of the people. Because I learned so much about Ableton, because people, do you know about this actually? And I know shit. Like, I do this for a long time in one direction, right? So like I went this way, some people went this way, and then you're just like, okay, so you went really deep into audio resources and I went really deep into media in that second year. And from this time, things that I don't know. So people tell you stuff that you need to try out for the next video, and you do a video on it. And for this, you learn about it, and then you learn so much more. So your music get better. Yeah. It literally force you, like when people invest money into a music school or something, or like, where you learn something, it's literally just putting you in an environment where everyone gets also homework. You have to do it. So you force yourself to involve yourself into this music making thing in a community somehow also. But with YouTube, you do that online, parallel next to the things that you develop yourself. Like, I want to make a techno EP. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I want to do. Let's try it together. Kind of attitude I think you need. And not like, I'm a YouTuber now. So, hi guys, like, don't start like this. Just be you, but use this platform, because this platform literally can help you. I can say it. You can say it. It was the only thing that literally worked in the end. And I think you don't have to be a YouTuber to do YouTube, because I am not. I'm an artist, not a YouTuber.
Nothing to add to that.
Wonderful.
And with that, let us know if that was helpful for you, because as we said, community is actually means a lot for us. So if you have anything you would like to see, maybe something where we can also help you to become better artists and or YouTubers, let us know, and we are happy to dive into that. And thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys, and see you again very soon in a new episode.
And in the comments. Bye-bye.
Oh yeah, in the comments. See you there. Bye-bye.